Flag that, Sony.
Devil smells like destiny, a sad lullaby. After this part, how much too long? The taking moments in this house of friends I once knew. We lived in shallow arches. Never got me down, no. Never really served my point of view. Sitting there straight up myself on you. Reflections of my ground, neglected time. Never got me down, no. Never really served my point of view. Does it taste right? Keep the lights on, the shadows right. Don't waste my time. Does it feel this good? All the misunderstood nights can't help myself looking to the sky. Does it taste alright? Keep the lights on, the shadows right. Don't waste my time. Does it feel so good? All the misunderstood nights can't help myself looking to the sky.
What up, Cyberspace Cadets, Cyber Fam, and Fambots galore? It's Irate Prostate. Welcome to the Creamcast channel. That's right, where your dreams can all come true if you're asleep. It's Saturday, and it's time for accelerated deconstruction, as we call it over here, lovingly as XD. Because, you know, when it's all said and done, more's been said than done.
You just gotta grin and bear it.
Yeah, no shit. Exactly. Let's see. I want to say hi to everybody in the gallery right now. I hate I saw you there first. Philip Daniel, hey man, you got your music's in the next room. Everything's original, all right? The stuff you just listened to, that's my band. I own that shit. Sony on Facebook, if you want to flag me for that shit, I say go for it, okay? Because I own it. And Philip's been nice enough to loan us some really cool original music to play in the background whilst we wax erotically. You know, because we're all like to mentally masturbate. Trap Vision, yeah. JP, hell, what's happening? Be a good boy, okay, man? I really want you to succeed. I'm pulling for you, okay? I'm pulling for you. All right.
I have little faith.
Angry man, Timma. Oh, you're here. Hey, whoa. Johnny
I'll
Bon
pull a double
Sacco.
duty.
Johnny Bon Sacco. Johnny Bon Sacco. Irate racists. Well, you know, some people would say that I'm a racist because I'm from the South. Obviously, I'm not a person of color. Obviously, who would have thunk that, you know, somebody like me could possibly be black? Maybe.
Well,
maybe not. Does it
we're gonna
really fucking matter?
We're going to learn very shortly that all white people are racist. So.
Well, of course, all white people are racist.
We've been learning that for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, first time I ever heard that all Southerners are racist was up here in Oregon. I had never heard that before in my life.
Yeah.
And it was said to my daughter.
That's right. All right, angry man. All right, check this out. All right, you want to get into imment theory? We can go there. If you take a fourth dimensional view of things, then everything done in the past was attempting to prevent their existence. I have no hope. It's hopeless. Okay.
Hopeless.
Hopeless. Yeah, I believe is what he's trying to say. But no, time is a flat circle, brother. Just saying. You know, we need to opt out of a raw deal and walk hand in hand into oblivion, and deny our programming, and not procreate. I'm stealing that from True Detective, season 1, by the way, which was perfect television in my opinion. Psycho 216, welcome. Boom, and that's it. Madness, of course, and Angry Man, or Angry Man and Madness. Holy shit, we've got the we've got the anger crowd. I'm irate prostate, so
Hey.
we're gonna be angry. Angry, pop blood vessels on my brain. You know?
I don't know, man. I'm having a really hard time just being angry about anything right now because for the first time in a long time, I have a week off work.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the deal. All right, so if you're really looking at shit, it's getting so weird that every day is like a Christmas present. Just, I mean, it's like Christmas. You open the door and Santa Claus has left you all these awesome gifts of all these insane motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, if all you want is just random shit that's gonna make you fucking throw up in your mouth, then yeah, that's exactly what happens every day.
Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day.
Well, okay, so first thing he does is cancel all border shit. Less than 3 months later, he's reinstating all border shit.
And he's just like, we're gonna fill in the gaps of the wall.
I'm like, okay, cool. You know, we've had almost 50,000 illegal immigrants pumped into Oregon.
Right.
Over the last 90 days. Like, we aren't talking like a year, y'all. We're talking like 90 days. And now they're starting to have PSAs saying that our COVID numbers are ticking up.
Oh, what a surprise.
Shocker.
Well, it's funny that Fauci has stepped back from making comments on this situation, right? And it's like he's almost saying things to the effect of it's probably not as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And I want them to put his ass, say, hey man, we're going to go get some ice cream. Put him in a fucking helicopter. Fly him to Donna, Texas, and take him inside without a mask on and put him in with them people. All right? and see how he acts. I want to film that shit. I'm just saying. I'm tired of Fauci's bullshit. You know? I'm very angry about that shit.
I am too, because I think
well, no, I can, you know, it's personal with me, okay? I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is, brother.
You know?
It frustrates me because he's lying. He's out there talking about we could have a mutation of the virus that is more deadly than the last one, even though that has never in the history of viruses happened.
It's the scariance argument. When you actually learn about scariance, and actually I was listening to a podcast with Tom Woods where he was talking to a epidemiologist named Ivor Cummins, and he was talking about how basically variants of viruses they're not really variants the way you think they are, right? It's not like crazy mutations. It's kind of written in the code of the virus that it's going to evolve in a certain way because that's what viruses do.
Right.
And he was explaining things like, so the South African variant had like 3 days later cases in, I don't know, Florida or something. But that wasn't caused by somebody from South Africa showing up to Florida and it just exploding. It's just that they happen to be kind of in line with the natural progression of the virus. And generally what happens with any kind of virus, especially like a coronavirus transmitting between humans, is that it might have some more survivability against the immune system. However, it's going to usually be less deadly, right? That's the trend that these kind of viruses are going to take because their goal is to survive. If they kill their host, they don't survive very well. And it doesn't really even take very much for the virus that doesn't kill people versus the virus that does kill people for it to dominate the population, right? The one that doesn't kill people is going to survive longer. Like they were talking about it, like it only takes like, I don't know, like an extra like 1% of people getting that version for it to eventually overtake the more deadly version. So that is the more likely scenario. I'm pretty sure that the latest New Discourses podcast, which I think everybody should check out, it's about medical lysinkoism. I think we're getting there.
Medical what?
Lysinkoism.
What is lysinkoism? Like, is that a Russian word?
No. Yeah, it is. It's from the Russian agriculture person that denied he opposed anything that Darwin said, had these crazy ideas that like viruses and cells and genetics were like communism, right? Like they all blend towards everybody being the same. It was absolutely ridiculous, but the fact is he was put in power, and any scientist that possibly opposed him, they were squelched or, put in re-education camps.
Look at the wall, right? Face the wall.
But I mean, I think we're there with coronavirus, and that's why, like last time I brought up, like they're using these very like postmodernist tactics. I think, actually, even going back, like critical theorist tactics to enforce this ideology upon people, when the data just doesn't support it anymore, and you have more and more professionals coming out saying the data doesn't support it. Yet, just recently, Susan decided to ban a speech from DeSantis, or actually, I think it was a hearing with other health experts, like that Dr. Gupta person we talked about last week, and they got rid of it because it did not agree with the consensus among authorities. But I think all the authorities are kind of corrupt at this point. Either that or they don't want egg on their face, which is the other explanation I said, which is very plausible.
UAE's the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah. He asked for another 3-liter country, so I gave him one. Sorry.
All right. So yeah, I've got my screen pulled up that everybody's
got
saying. Yeah. Y'all should. I wish y'all could hear this music. It's really good, and it fits the attitude of the show, I think. So I'm very happy. Thank you, Mr. Phillip.
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh shit! I was looking at the wrong chat. Hi, everybody. I didn't understand what you were talking about with what people are chatting, but I was still in gaming and yelling stream, and I was like, "What? Nobody's saying that."
But if you're not stoned, put your fucking game up, dude. Quit playing for 5 minutes.
I'm not playing any games. I was like right when we started, but I just happened to win the game beforehand, so we're good.
What is that noise?
I don't know.
Oh no, that's Satima typing,
Okay,
not me.
All right. Oh, that's fine.
Sorry, I have a mechanical keyboard.
No, I thought it was
I thought it was
Excel playing.
Yeah, no, not me this time. For a change, we can all
Indeed.
blame it on Atema.
Blame it on Tim.
That's fine. I'm a woman. I'm used to it.
You're a racist too.
Yeah.
'Cause you're white.
I love this headline, by the way. I love it. I'm just
White
looking at it.
supremacy is the root of all race-related violence in the U.S.
Dude, I love this so much because this article is about how the spike in anti-Asian hate crimes, which are predominantly black people attacking Asian people, it is the fault of white supremacy. Now, the reason I love this so much is because when I saw a story about 2 weeks ago, I replied jokingly, just being like, yeah, like, honestly, this is really white supremacy's fault, and I reflect every day on my whiteness and how it's causing black people to attack minorities in record numbers.
Because
And
monkey see,
I said
monkey
that as a
do?
joke.
Is that what you
I
meant
said
by
that as a joke. I said it as a joke. But these people, like, I knew that they were going to say it because of course they do. Of course they have to blame it on white supremacy because they don't actually believe. So they will say with a straight face that when a black person has a discrimination-based attack on an Asian person, right? And you know that they did it. Their motives were racially motivated. That's not racism to them. It's just discrimination. Because if you're not in a position of power, you cannot
Can't be a racist. Exactly. No,
they honestly believe that.
Actually, they've been saying that for a long time. Jesse Jackson was saying that shit back in the late 70s.
Yeah. So they circle back and they say that whenever you see this kind of hostility, it's actually because of the oppression that they live under that's caused by white supremacy that leads them to do these things. Heaven forbid, like the one thing they will never do, they will never ever do.
We've modeled that horrible
they're-
behavior. I mean, you know,
we've
done nothing but model horrible behavior for the world, actually, for the past, 200 years. It's time to pay.
Exactly.
I'm just really tired of the premise that everybody else is too stupid to be an asshole without us showing them how to do it.
Yeah. So like, this is the one thing, like, this is why, like, we say, like, these critical race theorists are the real racists, which they are, to be honest. But they would never, ever say that there might actually be a problem that is very specific to certain black communities that is causing them to be racist towards Asians. And that problem needs to be fixed in the black community. It is never the black community's fault or any other minority community's fault, right? It is always white supremacy's fault. Which does the biggest issue with that is, besides the point it's ridiculous and it's dumb, is that attitude will never solve any problems. Like, how can you? If that's your position and you believe that out of fiat, how can you actually solve the problem of, anti-Asian hate amongst the black community?
Well, they don't want to solve the problem. If there's no problem, they're not going to make money. So the problem must continue to exist. See, this is a huge grift. Come on, man. You know this.
Yeah, no, I do. But it goes back to the difference between, there's the bad actors is who you're talking about, but I think most people are just useful idiots that believe in this. And the useful idiots think that, well, if we just get everybody to think the same way we do, this will all go away. It's underpants, stuff, right?
More idiots than useful.
Step 1, get everybody to become critical race theorists. Step 2, Step 3, utopia.
Step 2, crickets.
I mean, that's really how they believe. It's not
the same, but it's the same people that believe 2 + 2 = 5.
Hey, Mr. Scott. Say hi to everybody at Twitch. That's right. Greetings. We actually have people at Twitch saying, hey, Mr. Scott.
Welcome.
Peter Coleman. We got somebody at Facebook. Oh. Are you Sony? Because Sony watches my shit on Facebook. And I've been winning them flaggings. So keep it up, Pam. It is
I
what
don't know.
it
It's just really amazing how I can make a joke on Twitter and see this pop up on Yahoo News. That's a legitimate article. Jennifer Ho, professor of Asian American
Okay,
Studies.
her name, dude, her name. The whole time you're reading the article's headline, and
Who's
you're talking about,
Ho?
and I'm like, Jenny Ho's here. Jenny Ho, Jenny Ho, Jenny Ho. Jenny Ho. It feels like high school all over again. Sorry. Jenny Ho.
I love how they say things here too that are misleading, and if not outright false. Like, if you're reading the line, white people are the main perpetrators of anti-Asian racism. That's might be true if you look at it like, 50% of anti-Asian hate crimes are caused by white people and 50% are caused by black people. But then you put that in proportion to the population and you realize that it is not primarily a white versus Asian problem. I actually don't even know, like, most people that you would like call white supremacists love Asians.
Actually, yeah. You'd be amazed at the amount of Hapa
That's why
Nazis
they're-
I've bumped
yeah.
into.
Yeah, that's why they're that's why they're the model minority. In critical race theory, they actually call Asians white adjacent. They've been so complicit with white supremacy that it's actually their fault. Right? They're the rape victim that was walking around in a skirt that was
That's
too
right.
short.
Should have worn that dress.
I still believe in dinosaurs. Yeah, they existed at one point in time.
Yeah. You're not one of those Jesus people?
No, I am not.
And then there you go. I'm trying to fold a. Wow. Asian hookers are the best, Slappy Get Right says. Well, I appreciate the clarification there.
I don't know. We could go through the rest of this article, but I basically said everything I have to say about it. I predicted this argument. Everything in it, I predicted it.
Well, it's like in San Francisco, something like 70 or 80% of all violent crime committed in the area is done by blacks on Asians. How the fuck is this my problem?
Yeah. White supremacy is an ideology, which she says in a lot of words means something that actually has nothing to do with your skin color. So,
right, because now they're identifying people as politically black and politically.
Yeah, that's when they say the silent
white.
part out loud. The thing is that they have to like be really careful on that, because if you make that too obvious, they don't get to hold the power that they hold. Right? Once everybody knows that whenever you say that, oh, you're a racist, doesn't actually mean anything that you classically would have been taught to be racist.
I can't remember.
Once they realize they're talking about something else and they're meaning of the word to the point where it means nothing other than you don't hold the same political philosophy that I do, then people start being skeptical and you're just like, this sounds like bullshit.
Well, all right, so on universities, and I can't remember where I heard this, but they're talking about these people called narrative officers or officers in charge of the narrative, like the Ministry of Truth or something. Right? You see what I'm saying? And that kind of, it's like it's brand new positions are opening up on campuses all over the United States for this narrative. I don't know what word to call it. The narrative maintenance.
Ideological purity.
Crazy. So.
Well, I wanted to read this little couple of sentences to you guys. It's right here on the screen. It says, white supremacy is an ideology, a pattern of values and beliefs that are ingrained in nearly every system and institution in the U.S. It is a belief that to be white is to be human and invested with inalienable universal rights, that to be not white means you are less than human, a disposable object for others to abuse and misuse.
That is made up bullshit.
I I don't know anybody outside of skinheads in the late 80s, early 90s
No shit.
that said that.
Kind of idiots that said shit like that. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's something that is most common in movies and not real life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's fantasy. Movies are not reality, people. I hate to break it to you, but it's called fiction for a reason. Right?
Hold on. I gotta stop. Travision JP is like, why we always gotta talk about race on this channel? Like in this stream in particular? Like, you know what we're talking about, right? We're talking about critical theory, which is centered around critical race theory, which is a very racial
obviously
subject.
Trapvision's a racist for thinking, that he is bored by talking about racism.
Well, yeah,
all the
also,
time.
yeah, exactly. Like, that's actually incredibly racist from the critical race theorist standpoint.
Oh my god.
Because if you're not looking at things in terms of race, what you're doing is you're being a colorblind racist.
Hey Uzi, bring ketchup.
The question in critical race theory is not if racism exists, right? Or if racism was present. It's how racism was present in any given situation. So if we're not looking at the world in a way where we assume that racism exists in every situation, we are not being good critical race theorists.
Can we read the next paragraph? I want to laugh my ass off at this one.
Yeah, let's scroll down a little and read it.
Story continues. Oh. There's the story continues button I read. Okay, so the dehumanization of Asian people by U.S. society is driven by white supremacy and not by any black person who may or may not hate Asians. Now, I want everybody to think back for a little bit and see if they remember the Asian woman who broke up with her white boyfriend because she had a problem with Asian fetishizing Asians.
Well, once again, this goes back to what I said earlier. It's like the last thing they're going to do is actually blame black people as in an aggregate as having a problem, or any black individual. They won't do that. It's white supremacy's fault.
Are they wrong?
But how are they dehumanized when everybody assumes they're smarter than the rest of us? They're kind of viewed as superhuman.
Well, the greatest president ever, according to most progressives, was FDR, and he did put them into basically concentration camps. So
No, they were internment camps. There was no executions or anything like that.
A concentration,
know,
all it means
but-
is a concentration of people.
yeah, look, if
A
it was
concentration. So concentration camp is not a death camp. People
Okay, look,
conflate
look.
the two.
I don't want to split hairs, but if kids in
Yeah.
cages are a problem, I'm pretty sure that was a problem too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at the border. We
Absolutely.
got concentration camps at the border right now. AOC called it out. She was right, man. It's bad now. Jesus.
Mm.
Mm.
I know I'm sidetracking this, but it was pretty hilarious that some reporter got up and said that, like, a lot of people are coming here now because they know you're a good, decent person, and if they need help, you'll let them in our country. But you have all these people here, so what are you going to do about it? Like, Joe Biden gave no real answer. That was, like, I don't remember Biden's answer. I just remember the question, which tells you something about Biden's answer.
Right.
Which question was it?
It was about the border crisis, but the reporter got up and said, "You're a good, decent person," which is why all these people are coming here.
Oh, that's right.
No, Biden. I do remember Biden's answer. I was kind of kidding, but he said, "Well, I wish it was because that's why they were coming." But the reality is like something like it happens every year because they come during the winter months, whenever they're not going to die in the desert and they're leaving these corrupt countries. Blah blah blah. Like, we already know why they're coming. And he said something along the lines of, like, now's not the time to come. Told him to go home. Sounded a lot like Donald Trump, to be real honest. and there was just not a lot of chatter around that because Biden's a savior and everything he does is right, and I don't want to get banned from YouTube, so he has the right opinions.
But okay, there's no okay. I'm gonna get tongue tied because Biden pisses me off. The man has no respect for anybody who doesn't pay him. So he views everybody as stupid. He views everybody as less than him unless they've paid him, and he feels they have more money or power than he does. And that's why he's always spoke so derisively about the poor.
Look.
I can't stand the man.
Look. Poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
Hey, I did want to pull this up and talk about it for a second. Since we're all right. Remember how they were talking about QAnon being just a bunch of group of insane people talking about, I don't know, like old elites injecting the blood of children into their veins to attain more youth and invigorate their vitality. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. This is from Newsweek. Can blood from young people slow aging? Silicon Valley has bet billions that it will.
Oh my God. You want to know why they're abusing our children?
Why?
So they can stay young.
So they can stay young. Yes. That's why the fucking border's filled with children right now, man.
That's it. There's the story, right? Like,
Madam,
the real reason for mass migration in these children holding cells is to blood donations to the elite. It's so Nancy Pelosi can live for another 100 years.
Check this out.
my
Read
God.
this shit, y'all. Who wants to read this out loud?
The Spanish firm Grifols helped set off a kerfuffle last year when it, along with other firms, offered nearly double the going price for blood donations for a COVID-19 treatment trial. Brigham Young University in Idaho had to threaten some enterprising students with suspension to keep them from intentionally trying to contract COVID-19. The trial failed, however, and now the Barcelona-based firm is hoping to extract something far more valuable from the plasma of young volunteers, a set of microscopic molecules that could reverse the processes of aging. Earlier this year, Grifols closed on a $146 million deal to buy Alkahest, a company founded by Stanford University neuroscientist Tony Weiss-Correa, who, along with Saul Vieta, revealed in scientific papers published in 2011 and 2014 that the blood from young mice had seemingly miraculous restorative effects on the brains of elderly mice. Oh, this is wonderful. The discovery adds to a hot area of inquiry called geroscience that seeks to understand molecular and cellular mechanisms that make aging a major risk factor and driver of common chronic conditions and diseases of older adulthood. According to the National Institutes of Health, in the last 6 years, Alkahest has identified more than 8,000 proteins in the blood that show potential promises as therapies. Its efforts and those of Grifols have resulted in at least 6 phase 2 trials completed or underway to treat a wide range of age-related diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Alkahest and a growing number of other geroscience health startups signal a change in thinking about some of the most intractable diseases facing humankind. Rather than focusing solely on the etiology of individual diseases like heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and arthritis, or for that matter, COVID-19, geroscientists are trying to understand how these diseases relate to the single largest risk factor of all, human aging. Their goal is to hack the process of aging itself and, in the process, delay or stave off the onset of many of the diseases most associated with growing old. Oh. Whoa. Until recently, people working on diseases did not think that aging was modifiable, said Philippe Sierra. It still isn't. Who recently retired as doctor of the Division of Aging Biology at the National Institute on Aging, a part of the NIH. That is actually what many medical books say. The main risk factor for cardiovascular disease is aging. But we cannot change aging, so let's talk about cholesterol and obesity. For Alzheimer's, aging is the main risk factor. But let's talk about the buildup in the brain of beta amyloid proteins. Now that it's beginning to change. The result is a flood of investment money, an explosion of research into what precisely goes wrong in our bodies as we get old, and the promise of clinical results down the road. Oh, this is going to get bad, people. I feel this is the Aztecs. This is the Aztecs. This is the Aztecs. This is alchemy. This is fucking
It's a blood
alchemy.
cult, right? Exactly.
Blood sacrifices.
Blood cult.
This is alchemy and Aztec religious practices congealed. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll go back to reading.
You're welcome, Timmy.
I have very little to say about this other than like hold on, like I'm gonna make a positive spin, right? Like if they actually identify like certain proteins and stuff like that are prominent in the blood of younger people but not the older people, and that they think those things will have beneficial health costs to older people, then I would assume that science is smart enough to synthetically produce it instead of being a total blood cult. Now, granted, I'm not getting that out of this article, right? But I'm just spinning it like there could be positive stuff on this research.
Okay, no, actually, do you know that we still kill horses to make anti-venom? We still kill horses to make anti-venom to this day. We still run them through a horse because we can't figure out how to synthesize it.
Crazy.
Well, that sucks, but the idea of synthesizing things to actually, you know what, making people live longer is terrible, and it's actually fucking up everything. Like,
yes,
we need to just stop that and accept the fact that we're gonna die someday.
No, man, you've got all these hippies, man, that are at the end of the road, and they're going because they're not the most selfish motherfuckers that ever existed on this planet, right? And they want more life, fucker. To quote Roy Batty from Blade Runner.
Yeah, no, this is disgusting. This is crazy. I'm sorry, you think you have cracked the code on aging. I have heard this before. And do you know how many people were killed in the name of, oh my God, hundreds of thousands of young people and children have been executed and murdered.
There's a reason. There's a reason the quest for immortality is oftentimes the drive for villains and many Western novels, right?
This is
Doesn't
nuts.
this go back to the Holy Grail?
Yeah.
Before the Holy Grail, because the story of the Fountain of Youth is older than the story of the Holy Grail.
Yeah, like, and it's always bad. Like, the person seeking that power is always the bad guy.
Because it's a power you should not have. It's against nature.
It drives you
and
insane.
all of Silicon Valley is dumping $1 gazillion into it, and now the government is helping them.
Well, they're in on it too. It's like they've got to have that. They've got to have that youth, man.
Look, man, with it. They're going for Cyberpunk 2020 IRL.
Right. Exactly.
Let's do it. Let's do it, fam.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, Trap Vision and JP, I know you're the same person. Look, man, if you can be cool, you can hang. I don't want to eat your ass off this platform, man. You know?
Okay, but you don't get to say that white people are the leaders of genocide because we are Turkish. The Turks are known for really good genocide. We are Japanese. The Japanese are known for doing really good genocide. We are Chinese. The Chinese are known for doing really good genocide. So don't lie and say that it's white people that are the leaders of genocide. No, we just did the most current one. And to be fair, it was the smallest scale genocide ever happened because the gypsies and the Jews still fucking exist. They may not be as many as they were before, but they still fucking exist. So you can't say white people this, white people that. No. No, sir. Genocide is something that's been around far longer than there have actually been white people. So you can stop it now. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. He is actually has Aztec blood in him. So
yeah,
so
well, actually,
the
Spanish killed the Aztecs not by actually just straight out genociding them, but breeding them into their culture.
Yeah. Well, okay, so they did kill off the smartest people they could find in every village, which was probably not the best idea. The Spaniards did do that. I don't know if that was a good idea.
We should try to
understand
avoid
why they did
genocide.
it, though, but- What?
We should try to avoid genocide. Thanks,
Oh, we
memes.
should. We should. Hi,
Solid
memes.
advice.
Say hi.
Solid
Yeah.
advice.
We here on Irate Prostate's channel are against genocide, and that
No
makes
shit.
us good.
And I'm against the use of a children's blood to fucking help old people stay young or to feel younger. You know what? I really do think that this is kind of another grift. Man, there's a shitload of grift going on. And
This has got to be a grift because this is alchemy. There's no way to do this, Irate.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They've been saying it. QAnon. You know, hey, I don't advocate QAnon. It's like because I believe it. I think it was a psyop, but they brought it up. So just saying.
I just want to point out real quick, even memes of destruction in our chat, and I think this is the sentiment of most of our chat, is that genocide is a good thing worth avoiding.
Yeah. It's worth taking the effort to make sure you don't do it.
Exactly.
I feel like such a good person now that I pointed out something so obvious that we shouldn't do stuff like that. Man, I think we can call it a night, boys. We came out against genocide today. That makes us great.
We made a firm position against genocide.
Against genocide, and
genocide bad, cuz.
It is. It's like ethno-nationalism is dangerous.
Honestly, I expect Ta-Nehisi Coates to come out and watch our stream and be like, these guys were brave and bold for being against genocide, and everybody should subscribe to us.
Indeed. All right, so what do we want to talk about next?
Let's go to the chop suey thing real quick because it's funny.
Oh my god,
it's way less deep.
Wake up, grab a brush, put a little makeup. Hide the scars, fade away the shake-up. Sorry, wrong chop suey.
CNN claims popular Asian fonts.
What the fuck?
They're talking about fonts that you put on your fucking computer, people.
I know. What the fuck, dude? Are you serious?
That is what they're talking about right there. Can a font be racist?
Wait, I got this one. For years, the West has relied on so-called chop suey fonts to communicate Asianness in food packaging, posters, and ad campaigns. But such fonts perpetuate problematic stereotypes. That's so fucking stupid.
Are you serious? Dumb. Because it's the literal adaptation of Chinese kanji in America. From
exactly. That's
the late 1700s. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I said before. It's like they're trying to mimic the strokes of Asian writing.
Yeah, brush calligraphy. It's really right in Japan. It's an art form that requires, it's a meditative process, man. It's a really beautiful art because it's very nuanced. You talk about nuanced art, man. The usage of those brushes it takes years to learn how to do that. Okay.
Well, so I don't even know where in the article it says this, but they're just like, and Asian business owners that are selling Asian products to Americans have often adopted these kind of fonts in order to sell their products. And I'm just like, yes, they want to let them know that it's exotic, it's Asian, it's something different, it's something beautiful in and of itself.
That's why you eat the shit. That's why you get it. You get Asian for something different. And it's okay. Oh my God.
Like in this article by the Daily Wire, they kind of point out that like there's a lot of Gothic fonts that try to imitate old English and Latin ways of writing.
Yeah,
like,
old English.
And they're used by people of color for the most part. So
yeah, like Hispanics and shit.
Yeah.
MS-13.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just no. Okay, so if you're in a car club, you'll find a lot of the script, the calligraphy script writing. You'll find a lot of because they're Catholic. I
think it just looks cool.
It does look cool, but the majority of people you'll see use it, especially for like writing and stuff like that, they're going to be people of color. And honestly, you're going to find it in like bands and car clubs and art and like mechanic shops and stuff. It's not going to be. Yeah,
I actually know what you're talking about with the car club things. Like they always use some sort of like weird, like medieval font.
Because they're Catholic. They're used to illuminations.
This is a great post. This guy says, stop looking for ways to divide people. Typography is a communication tool. And in the vast majority of instances, this is well-intentioned and informative.
Well, exactly. That goes back to what we were saying. It's like we're just kind of appreciating like the style, right? But we also want to make it legible to the people that like our audience, right? So it signals that like this is something that like has a lot of influence from Asian culture, but we did put it in English. Like it's not, there's nothing hateful about it. And this goes right back to like what critical race theory does. It is not designed to eliminate racism. Really, it's designed to perpetuate it and let everybody accept that it's there.
Yeah.
It's just manipulation.
It's absolute manipulation. It's trying to it's their attempt to make Asians feel included.
That makes me think, okay, racist name for a restaurant or not? Super China King Buffet 2.
That sounds totally like something you would hear in an Asian country. Doesn't sound racist to me at all.
Yeah, that's it. That was a Texas Chinese buffet. And guess what? There was no Super China King Buffet 1. They were just making fun of English translations to Chinese movie or titles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like. Super China King Buffet 2.
Okay, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I would totally eat there.
And people got it, and it was fun.
I would totally eat there.
And the Chinese people that ran it, they did not feel like they were belittling themselves for naming their restaurant that way. And guess what? The font was in some sort of chop suey font in front of the restaurant.
I'm sure it was. Almost every restaurant you see. You know what they do instead of that? They'll use bamboo. And they'll make the letters with bamboo sometimes.
I've seen that too.
What is that going to be racist? Because my neighbor's growing bamboo right now.
It's not. It's almost like
I had a bong made out of bamboo.
Cultural differences,
yeah,
and make fun of them a little bit to kind of set aside the differences, which actually brings more people into accepting that culture. It's kind of weird how that works, actually. that the more you're able to joke about differences between cultures, the more accepting you become of those cultures.
Yes. Yes. That's why Carlos Mencia was necessary. And what's George, whatever is, and George Lopez is a total prick in real life. But that's why they were necessary.
Fuck, even early Chris Rock like played towards this 90s common humanity thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Dave
Talking about
Chappelle did for the longest.
talking about the
motherfucking
difference between black people and N-words, man.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and he was right. And he,
They were just like, oh, he just put in very comedic terms that there are certain cultural problems within certain black communities.
no, man. Everybody's got their fucking.
detrimental.
You're right. So we call ours
But
white
for the
trash,
most part,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're niggers. All right, they're white people that act like assholes.
Yes.
They're uncouth. They're uneducated, and you know, and they want everything given to them. And they are white people. All right, but they're still N-words. All right, I said the word to kind of focus and center everybody because it's just a fucking word that's been watered down over the last 20 years by rap music and then this bullshit here. All right.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because when I was a kid growing up in the 90s, I've never called a black person the N-word. Never.
No. You know, and I remember Jesse Jackson raising hell about it starting popping up in rap.
Yeah.
Because he said it belittled the word, and he's absolutely right. It's turned it into a nothing word. Oh, I hear white people call white people the word all the time because it's a thing, man.
Well, I've always called other than black people. Never called a black person a nigger before. I've always said it
No, never.
I've always said it to everybody else, but I'll call a black person a spick or a chink. I intentionally misappropriate. I will, dude. It's just, I intentionally misappropriate racial slurs. I always have.
It reminds me of like this friend that I used to have. It was a friend I played Magic the Gathering with. And he would just tell random people, just like, fuck you, Four Eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it would be people that were wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone would just look at him dumbfoundedly. And he's just like, oh, I just say that because I think it's funny to myself. Like, I think it's funny to tell people that I'm mad at that they're Four Eyes, even though they don't wear glasses. Great.
Or I'll call a really tall guy shorty. And it really pisses him off, and I don't know why.
Man, the funny thing about that is, like, I know a whole bunch of big dudes named Tiny.
But no, I don't say, oh, you I don't like call them tiny. I'll say, oh, shut up, tiny man. Or something like that. Or short stack. Or something like that. And they'll get pissed. I intentionally misappropriate racial slurs. I always have.
That's how Timma keeps me in check, actually. She's just like, fuck you, short stack. And I'm just like, why are you doing that to me, man? I'm 6'6". And she's like, you're a bitch. I'll step on you.
She's talking about your micro pecker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. Oh, JP, TVE, whatever, 2121, 2021.
You don't have to believe me. I give a fuck.
No, man, he's failing. You know, I told you I put your True Prime account in timeout. I was going to give you a week, all right, because I yeeted you off the channel last week. You know, and you snuck back in with these different names and stuff, and you know, and I kind of let it slide, and that's on me. You know.
Well, he was all right for a little bit, but as soon as we're candid about how to destroy this whole racism paradigm, he got really offended.
Well, yeah, it's easy to take the moral high ground on this kind of shit and pretend that you're on some kind of high ground when really it's been misused to the point of where it's meaningless.
Yeah.
And I hate to, I hate for that, man, because it gives people like Robin DiAngelo excuses to actually be racist and to embrace their own personal racism and hate for other people of different races and make a shitload of money off of it. It's disgusting.
It is.
So we do have a video we could watch.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. It's one of those webinars.
Oh, great.
That Carl and Borshenko.
Yeah, we're gonna do the New Hampshire bill that we already talked about, right?
I don't know.
The
What?
opponents. It's a Zoom call from the opponents of the New Hampshire HB 544, which we already went over.
I didn't pull that up. Where
No,
was-
this is a different one. Okay,
where
Yeah.
is
fine
this?
I'm fine with a different one too.
Are
Let's
you?
go.
All right. Let's see if we can hear it. Can y'all
It's
hear it?
muted. Oh, there we go.
Looks like we're at time and ready to start.
Can you
Hi,
hear
yes.
that?
My name is Jessie Cork.
Yes, I
It's
can
not
hear it.
loud at all, though. All right, I'm gonna turn the music back, y'all. Just give me a second, so we can let everybody hear. And Philip, this music's really killer. And let it play in the background all day long, and pretend like I'm in the Usher mansion.
I'm the Resource and Narrative Development Coordinator at the UW Population Health Institute.
Oh,
And,
yeah, resource and narrative coordinator.
Oh.
This is niceness is not anti-racism, how white women can and must step up their game. And I'll turn it over to Nestic to introduce herself as well.
How white women?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nestic Morris, and I'm the outreach coordinator at the Wisconsin Coalition Against Sexual Assault.
Yes, and Nestic and I used to work together at Wakasa, and we still just can't keep away from each other, apparently, and we need to keep presenting together on these kinds of topics.
Ooh, do tell.
Wow, that was mean, girl.
And so we're
Oh.
lucky that we continue to be able to do that. So right before we get started, too, making sure that you have some pen and paper nearby.
The
That'll
person
be
talking
helpful for
right
some
now
of
is
our
only
activities,
23 and already owns
as we
12
go.
cats.
Is what? She's 23 and what?
23.
Yeah, the person talking right now is probably about 23 and already owns 12 cats.
Well,
Jesus
and
Christ,
she's in charge of narrative at a college, right?
Because that's an important thing for colleges to present to people.
And
is
I'm sure
narratives.
she went to that college too, and I'm sure her parents got money, and they went to that college as well, because that's the way shit really works.
Yeah, well, and also, like, what colleges need to do is teach people what to think, not how to think. Because if people learn how to think, they might become racist.
Okay, does she know that you're supposed to actually fill a bookcase with books instead of 4 books and a picture? It's fucking bookcase. Why isn't it full of books?
Well, and her, to be fair, her friend is smart enough to put like a green screen in the background. you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want people looking at my shit either. But
But you
I
got
think that's her family in the
4
background.
But she's got 4 motherfucking books on a bookcase. You can't go over to the fucking Goodwill and just grab you some books, put them on the bookcase, so you at least look like you know how to read with them big ass glasses. Sorry, mean girl gonna get the mean girl treatment. That's all there is to it. Sorry.
Indeed. All right, we're gonna roll. And tell me when to stop.
Go through the next hour and 15 minutes together. So
Stop!
anything else you want to add, Nestic?
This is bullshit. Continue on.
We're gonna speed it up.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, gotta share our disclaimers. So first of all, just want to point out that our session today is really meant to be an opportunity for white women to dig deeper into some of their failings, their mistakes, their perpetrated harms. And so again, like I've mentioned, we're going to have some journaling time built into the presentation today. We won't ask you to share what you journal about, but I just want to say, you know, as with everything, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. So your participation in the activities is key for what you will take away from today. The other thing I want to point out is that as we dig into our, failures and our mistakes, that kind of growth is difficult, and we may have tough feelings. And I want you today to really focus on letting yourself feel those things. It's really common, I think, the second we have this feeling like, oh my God, I messed up, or have some sort of feelings of guilt or shame about something, our first instinct is, oh my God, how do I make this feeling go away? Right? Like, what do I do to not feel this bad, negative thing that I'm feeling right now? And oftentimes we can rush into either being defensive, right, defending ourselves, or we rush into an action like, oh, well, I'll go donate some money, or I'll buy a Black Lives Matter sign, or I will, et cetera, et cetera. And all of that, I believe, is really to make us push the feeling away rather than sit with the feeling, right? Invite it in, talk with it a little bit, have a conversation, name it, figure out where it came from. What is that about? Because I really believe, and we really believe, that you have to be able to process that.
Yeah, she's wanting you to wallow in this state of unease, right? And embrace that and make that part of who you are, right? Which is not going to make you more nervous around other races.
Sorry, I threw up while she was talking.
Yeah. I'm gonna slow her down just a bit. Just, God damn it, irate, do that shit. Here we go. We'll pop it to 125.
In order to actually make your next anti-racist actions much more productive and meaningful. So again, just saying, might have tough feelings. That's maybe a good thing, right? Let's sit with those today. Nestic, I'll turn it over to you.
We are asking for you to put your defenses down, open up your heart, be willing to check yourself and your privilege. We are also firm believers in you don't know what you don't know, but we are also going to hold you accountable as well.
What the fuck does that mean? Can somebody translate that, what she just said for me? And I'm not being flip, man. I mean, all right, let's go back and listen to that once again.
So you're gonna have to replay it. I don't know.
I'll turn it over to you.
Here.
We are asking for you to put your defenses down, open up your heart, be willing to check yourself and your privilege.
Okay, we got that. This is the second part.
We are also firm believers in you don't know what you don't know, but
you don't know what you don't know, but
we are also going to hold you accountable as well.
But you're going to be held accountable for not knowing what you don't know.
That doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, you're just guilty?
Of course.
Ah. Okay.
And then you'll notice
So those first points gives you the opportunity to get up and go if that's what you want to do. We are about to take a ride on the accountability train. Jesse and I are not afraid to have the conversation.
We're not afraid to have that conversation because we're leading it. We're leading the charge with this thing.
This conversation, particularly when we're talking about white women, we are very intentional about the topics, the terms, and all the things that are discussed. What we hold to be true for the last 4 years is that accountability, co-conspiracy, and allyship, all of those go together. And what we also know to be true is that most people aren't ready to have this conversation. If we were in person, I would tell you that you are not chained to your doors, you're not chained to your seat. So please feel free to get up and leave if that's what you want to do. Like I said, we've been doing this for 4 years. We effectively call this the Nestic and Jesse Show. And so please be ready. We're going to be talking about some things that make people uncomfortable, and you are not obligated to stay here if that's what you want to do.
So if you did leave, what do you think they would say? What do you think people are going to get out of that?
You're a problem and we're going to attack you is what's going to happen.
Exactly. You're going to get a struggle session free of charge.
What I'm noticing is there's only one man in that picture.
Oh, no, you're not supposed to say that.
There's only one man in that picture, and there are 2 sons. Yeah, I'm going to buy anything you say right now, lady. Sorry.
But she is smart enough to use a green screen and a picture of her family. So we'll give her that.
Yeah, but that's just a travesty.
This will be Black-centered. And so if Blackness makes you uncomfortable, please feel free to get up and go. Please go to a different session. There are some amazing sessions going on, and we don't want you to stay here. We don't want you to miss out. We cannot walk you through your fragility, at least not for free. But if you would like to contract us in, please feel free. And we'll
not for free. Negative. We'll do it for a price. We'll make you a non-racist.
will walk you through all.
You pay me enough money, I'll absolve you of your sins. This is selling indulgences. This is a cult, and they're selling indulgences.
Fragilities that you have. To the folks of color in the space, I stand here in complete solidarity with you. My liberation, my people's liberation is tied into your people's liberation. So if you are in the grassroots fighting for systemic change, please understand that my people's liberation is tied in your people's liberation. Society has done a great job of letting us think that we are not fighting the exact same fight, which is, in the words of Randy Grayson, white supremacy, white invasion, patriarchy, and capitalism. So I bring you the blackest, warmest, unapologetic love that I can.
None of those are connected.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Mystic. And I also
really
want to point out, it's really difficult with the platform we're using for the kind of interaction and in-person accountability to take place. But even if in the chat, if there's some accountability offered to you on something you share or talk about, again, I just invite folks to thank that person, sit with that, think on what that means for you, and not rush again to defensiveness, but just to continue to sit with what we learned today. So I got to show this video that Nestic likes to show, and I'll let you speak on it, Nestic, when it finishes.
Hey, I have a sense of what the problem is. I am not prejudiced. I give substantial donations to help inner city programs. Now, I have countless black people in my employ, both at the farm, in my kitchens.
All right, notice, all right, this is this is taking a shot directly at white Southerners, assuming that we're all white Southerners are racist. All right, and note how this lady's talking. All right, I'm not going to say that people like this don't exist here. All right, because they do, but they're not the rule. That's what I'm here to say.
I have a sense of what the problem is. I am not prejudiced. I give substantial donations to help inner city programs. Now, I have countless black people in my employ, both at the farm, in my kitchens. Now, I think it's a crime, the way people take things out of context. Absolutely. I think it would be wise to continue this discussion back in our room. But why was that? I don't know. I just have a weird feeling. Hang on. You don't think that they think that I'm a... No, it's just a puppet show. I can't spend the rest of my time with some ding-dong like that following me around. Isolation perpetuates the rumors that you hate black people. Look, it was the 80s, all right? Everybody was a moron in the 80s. I just want to be able to walk around here without everybody looking at me like I'm some kind of terrified being. I sincerely regret it. But they did promote fresh food. I mean, there was a message. Fine. Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I did a lot of blow back in the early 80s, and it kept me thin and awake, but it didn't do much for my cultural sensitivity or my bank account or my gynecological health. Now, the chips fell, I eventually moved on, and here I am. But if you get lonely, you know, I'm not trying to put a brave face on it, but to tell you the truth, I could use some friends, other than a skinny hippie always in crisis. You know, it's hard enough being in here without feeling everybody hates me.
Is that from Orange is the New Black?
No, I think it's from a shitty TV series in the 90s. It looks old as fuck.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I don't know where they got that. I want to know why she's Southern too. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, because you know, just Southerners are just inherently more racist than Yankees because they lost the war and they like their little Confederate flags and shit.
Yeah, even
reasons.
Though, you know, the vast majority of the South was abolitionist, but okay. Slavery was never particularly popular among the working class ever in a culture that has slavery, especially in Southern culture where everybody did fucking manual labor in agriculture. Nobody liked the slaves. They didn't like the concept. They had to fight against that and try to find a way to make a living.
I'm try to back it up to where, all right, they end it.
Should not be a part of your anti-racism work.
This should not be a part of your anti-racism work? Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a really long history of white women failing women of color as allies, right? And this, I know folks have seen this probably many times before, but this is the breakdown of how folks voted in the 2016 presidential election. And we can also talk about white men, but maybe that's for another day.
how white women have been horrible allies. Fatima,
I know.
you've been horrible to yourself.
I know. I
And today
haven't
we're just focusing on-
de-radicalized. I didn't de-radicalize dozens of white supremacists throughout high school. I didn't beat the shit out of several that I couldn't de-radicalize. No, I did none of that. I was a terrible ally. Fuck these people.
Yeah, I did a lot of blow in the 80s. What, okay. So did I. What are you trying to say?
On white women. I do encourage any white men in the session to go get your people as well. But today I'm a white woman and I'm trying to talk to my people. And, you know, seeing this is a really clear example of how white women are choosing their whiteness, right? Their proximity to power over.
I'm sorry. Her people are overeducated shitheads. I'm just, you know, they're not my people.
For, you know, what might be best for the country as a whole. And then we also get, you know, women who react to this information, right? And white women getting called out for overwhelmingly voting for Trump.
Oh,
And then
okay,
there's
hold
an entire
on.
product line to make sure that you can tell.
All right,
fuck you,
all right.
lady.
So the character, it was from fucking Orange is the New Black. I was right. And Mr. Scott J87 says it's a Netflix show and it's 6 or 7 seasons. I quit watching it after 3 or 4. I can't remember. Atima, she's supposed to be a Martha Stewart / Paula Deen stereotype.
Paula Dean's not a racist. She's just an old lady.
She admitted that she said nigger one time.
So she's
And she's
so
from the South.
what?
She said the word. She admitted that she said it.
What? Did she
and-
sang along with David Allan Coe or some shit? What?
No shit. You would bring up David Allan Coe. Now,
I love
now
that. It's horribly raunchy music. It's great.
it's good stuff. Anyway, but it is, man. Look, I'm really okay. Let's just listen to some more. Excel is totally speechless. He's obviously been. Yeah, you okay?
Oh, I had nothing to say.
Okay.
Oh, folks, hey, but not this white woman, right? There's this rush to disavow ourselves of what that means, and instead of really wrestling with our role in white supremacy.
Fuck
Nessa, did you want to
you!
speak on this too before we?
Fuck you! Sorry.
So, I want to posit for you all today that we are all Amy Cooper. Amy Cooper is the woman who famously or infamously called the cops on a black man by the name of Christian Cooper while they were walking in the same park.
Their last names are Cooper. They must be related.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not Amy Cooper. I would never do anything this dumb and retarded.
Isn't that funny? Their names are Cooper. I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but all right. So,
the
but
news
that
actually made the statement. No, they aren't related.
That-
And it's like,
I was gonna say that's the crux of this video. Is this right here? Is how that all white women are like this lady. All right, all white women are like this lady. Even the ones that take the BBC all the time. I'm just saying, man.
And because he was, I believe,
You know, it's like talking about monoliths and shit. I mean,
asking her to keep her dog on a leash, which is the rules of the park, she called the cops and was trying to tell them that a black man was threatening her life. So I'm here to say, instead of pushing away Amy Cooper and disavowing ourselves of her, we need to take a moment and look at how we are also Amy Cooper. And I'm going to back up for a second and come full circle on this, but
hold on now. Nobody's saying that racism is fake, man. Where are you getting that?
no, it's something that we've
PVE.
been battling actively as a society for a long time.
Right. No, nobody's saying that. You know, sexual harassment, a rape, a fake thing like racism as well. No, of course not. All right. And nobody's saying that, but they're saying, what I'm saying is that your assumption of me being a racist, okay, if that's the case, is that you're full of shit because you don't know me. All right. Even though I've used the N-word. Oh my God. I said the N-word on Saturday night. You know?
Dude, I've used it way more times than that.
But you see, my point is it's not out of hate, man. It's out of the fact that the word has been watered down because of this kind of thinking. This kind of thinking is poisonous. It's destroying people, and it's creating victims out of victimizers, and it's creating victimizers out of non-victims.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So I want to jump to just talking about Dr.
I guess that's the only way you can justify, berating somebody and ruining their life, and causing them, not the ability to get a job for the rest of their life, right? To cancel them so fucking hard that they can't get a job anywhere because of, shit online, right? I guess you have to justify that.
And this is one of those hate situations where we had a Karen and a Darren in the same situation together, and one of them decided he was going to try to flex, and she decided she was going to try to flex in her retarded way. And both of them were fucking stupid because he was trying to, because Moonbase Radio, I still want to call him SSM, Moonbase Radio pointed out he was trying to lure her dog away. So, this is like the worst situation to use for this example because it's really two people acting like shit. And it was caught on film. You know what I mean? And it had nothing to do with race. It had to do with, flexing power.
She said, I got a sexy voice. Why? Why, thank you.
I'm pretty sure any Karen, regardless of the race of the person, they said something like, "You don't do what I say, I'm gonna make your dog. I'm gonna make you regret it." Right?
No, that was kind of the deal that they had run into each other before, and he was sick of her not controlling her dog, so he was gonna, I don't know, he was threatening to do something to it, right? And some people had posited that he was maybe had some like poisoned, kibble that he was going to give the dog, or he's just going to straight kidnap it or break its neck and throw it in a trash can. I don't know, but people were, it came out that he had a malicious attitude towards that critter, and he had bitched a lot about dogs on that course, right?
Yeah.
All right. So so there was half that wasn't captured by by camera, and that was him. She didn't have her camera out for him, but he's got his out for her. See?
Well, and he was a dick.
Yeah, they're both.
They both acted stupid.
It's hate. It's definitely hate situation.
I really, just no. This is such a terrible example. Terrible example.
I would say hey to Dr. Kiev. Welcome.
Guru, who has been for a long time now researching and writing about and talking about something called post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's this idea that slavery has coded the DNA and has strongly influenced survival behaviors of Black Americans.
Slavery's encoded in your DNA.
Okay.
Are you choking there?
Yeah, I just choked off my water.
All right, so people don't know what this. Tema is multiracial, okay?
Very multiracial.
I don't know how to classify it, right?
I don't either. It's fucking Slavic, Gypsy, and fucking which is a hybrid in and of itself, and then it's like 3 different types of Native American and a Black person and some Scottish in there too. So I don't even know. I just know that I'm not a normal white girl, even though I got blue eyes. I had a fucking honker and a half.
Dude. All right. I don't know what to say. Honestly.
So to me, this whole thing is just like, y'all are so fucking retarded, dude.
Yeah, but no. All right. So what she's asserting here is that you've internalized this post-traumatic stress from being a slave through your DNA.
Yeah. Against myself.
Right. So you must hate yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't even know how to, like, that's why I was like choking on my water because I didn't. I'm like, wait a goddamn minute. This doesn't even make any fucking sense. Dude.
let's play. I want to let more of it play out and just kind of let's kind of let this marinate for a minute and listen to exactly what she says, man.
So I'm here to say, instead of pushing away Amy Cooper and disavowing ourselves of her, we need to take a moment and look at how we are also Amy Cooper. And I'm going to back up for a second and come full circle on this. But so I want to jump to just talking about Dr. Joy DeGruy, who has been for a long time now researching and writing about and talking about something called post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's this idea that slavery has coded the DNA and has strongly influenced survival behaviors of Black Americans. And I know that's an oversimplification. I really encourage folks to look it up and learn more about it. But just to give you that background, right? And now some emerging research.
I mean, that's kind of exactly what it is. You know, I looked it up. You know, and that's basically what it's saying.
And theory is coming out, I think, mostly led by a woman named Heather Hackman, exploring post-traumatic master syndrome. Right, this idea that the very same legacy of slavery has also left lingering impacts on white people, including dissociation from racial trauma and feelings of superiority in white people, right? It shows up in how we carry ourselves, our mannerisms, how we treat other people, how we think of ourselves. And no matter how liberal we vote or think we might be, our ancestry still lies deep within our bones, coming out in ways that we may not even expect. So again, I'm proposing that maybe it's time we stopped rushing to condemn the Amy Coopers of the world and realize that we as white women are also Amy Cooper. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Jesse, I never would have done that. That was awful. I can't believe she did that. I would never do that personally in that scenario, in that situation. And I hear you, and I'm even willing to believe you. But I also want to point out that it seems like Amy Cooper also didn't think she would have done that, right? She admitted to being ashamed of her behavior after the fact. But she may only be aware of her behavior because Christian Cooper and the world forced a mirror on her that day, right?
No, it just took the camera. If you had showed that and played it back to her in real time, she would have been embarrassed right then and there.
Yeah.
That's normal and human. It wouldn't take
Well,
the whole...
all right, so all right, there's an old saying that character is what you do when nobody's looking. How you behave when nobody can see you.
Yeah, well, it also turns out in like times of crisis where like you're just confused and threatened, you're gonna act really fucking weird. That's just all there is to it.
Exactly, man. I like the way you just cut through the bullshit there, and right, this whole predisposition that slavery really is like 300 years. Well, I'll give them 300 years of slavery on this continent. All right. 300 years of slavery has affected generations for thousands of years. All right. Because according to what I've read, I don't know if I've got this wrong, but we're never going to ever be able to shake it and get rid of it. We're just going to have to deal with it, hang our heads and take your punishment, you know, and pray that they for forgiveness. Because, you know, you're born with the original sin of racism. And, you know, indulgences are available, though.
Right? We have to remember that Amy Cooper was also a liberal. She had a history of donating to liberal political candidates. And yet.
Which is why she acted like a complete and total racist
let's stop
tool.
putting distance.
No shit. Exactly, man.
between ourselves and Amy Cooper and start identifying with her. Say, she is my...
See, that totally defeats their whole... I guarantee you they assumed that she had voted Trump and she was like a MAGA person when they first saw this, right? And then they learned that she was like them, so they had to spin the narrative to fit, right? And this is what they've come up with.
I am her. She is me. What is going on deep down inside that caused her to act that way? And in what ways am I doing the exact same thing? Or have I done the exact same thing in other scenarios, right? How am I rooting out my deeply held racism and superiority that hides in the shadows inside of me? How am I holding up a mirror to myself today and acknowledging my ugly? This is
You
a
could
tweet
go
that
outside and
really
get some exercise.
sums up a little bit. I think right after the vice presidential debate, there's a lot of women who were identifying.
Hold on.
Yeah, I told her she could go outside and get some exercise. I'm sorry.
No doubt. Yeah, no, that was good. I wanted to kind of listen to this shit about the vice presidential debate. Remember the one where Mike Pence kicked her ass?
Yeah.
That's funny. Plagiarism. Is that something Joe Biden knows something about plagiarism now, doesn't he?
She is my people. I am her. She is me. What is going on deep down inside that caused her to act that way?
Good job.
And in what ways am I doing the exact same thing? Or have I done the exact same thing in other scenarios, right? How am I rooting out my deeply held racism and superiority that hides in the shadows inside of me? How am I holding up a mirror to myself today and acknowledging my ugly? This is a tweet that really sums up a little bit. I think right after the vice presidential debate, there's a lot of women who were identifying with Kamala Harris's experience and some of her reactions to being talked over, for example. And this tweet just kind of called white women out and said, hey, you think you're Senator Harris in this scenario, but you're actually the debate moderator.
Ooh. I'm talking.
You're Susan Page, right? And you're doing kind of
you're
a crap
the
job
debate
of actually
moderator, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
really
yeah.
think you have that much power?
No, that's what she's saying, okay? That all right, that most everybody identified, all the women and women of color identified with Kamala Harris when she was talked over by the vice president, right, in quotes. And what she's saying is that they need to identify with the debate moderator and listen for the reason.
A little bit. I think right after the vice presidential debate, there's a lot of women who were identifying with Kamala Harris's experience and some of her reactions to being talked over, for example. And this tweet just kind of called white women out and said, hey, you think you're Senator Harris in this scenario, but you're actually the debate moderator. You're Susan Page, right? And you're doing kind of a crap job of actually using the power and privilege that you have to support this woman of color.
Holy shit, you just said you're a white supremacist, you retard.
Right. That she should have used her privilege and power to change the conversation, to adjust the conversation. Right. To take up for one of the when you're a moderator, you're supposedly not supposed to not favor any side. Although Candy Crowley, of course, proved that was bullshit. Years ago, but I'm glad Romney didn't get to be president anyway. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Really do think he was so bad at being a politician on the federal level. Like, he was so unpopular. I think he really truly is the reason the Tea Party was started.
I couldn't vote for him, man. And this because I could not identify with the guy. He just seemed like an out of touch, rich motherfucker that, sees me like the rest of Washington now. They all see us as ants. We're flyover people. We're just ants on an anthill.
So, today we're going to talk on two different subjects, white supremacy and patriarchy, and anti-Blackness. For both of these, we're going to provide just a little bit of content, a little bit of lecture, so to speak, and then we want to ask you to use some journaling prompts to, again, dig into what our failures have been in some of these areas. We are not going to ask you to share what you journal about. We just don't have the platform right now to build the kind of trust to have those conversations, I don't think. But in the chat, we'll have some different prompts for the chat directly after that as well to think about how we're going to address these failures. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Me and White Supremacy, a guided journal from Layla Epstad. Her work not only helped me to dig a lot deeper and start becoming a better aspiring ally, but also is a little bit the inspiration for the activities that we have today. And one of the questions is very similar to one from her book as well. And I just want to give a shout out to her and her amazing work. So,
okay, this is becoming scarily, dangerously cultish.
So white supremacy and patriarchy. We know that these issues are connected. We know this. This is just a handful of different headlines I've found over the last few years of just making this connection, right? We know that where there is misogyny and sexism, there is also white supremacy and white supremacy and racism. We know that although oppression is very complex and the way it is interconnected can be kind of confusing at times, and we're looking at ways that we suss that out, there's a clear connection, right, between these two things. Where there is racism, there is sexism, and vice versa. And yet, a lot of us white women showed up for the Women's March, but haven't been to a Black Lives Matter march or
Nope.
a protest for the family separation at the border or these other racial and ethnic justice issues. And so if these things are so connected, why aren't we doing a better job of taking anti-racist action alongside anti-sexist action? Around the Women's March that occurred right after Trump was inaugurated as president, there were a lot of women of color who decided to not partake in that.
For those
march,
that you don't know what we're
because
talking
the
about,
agenda
that's
did not
the
reflect
Pussy Head
them, it did not
March.
involve them, it did not integrate.
Right? Exactly. Check your logic. Somebody get the bingo card. Yeah.
Around the Women's March that occurred right after Trump was inaugurated as president, there were a lot of women of color who decided to not partake in that march, right? Because the agenda did not reflect them, it did not involve them, it did not integrate them, and that there was a long history of feminism being very white and not actually speaking to the full breadth of experience of women, right? And so a lot of women responded, white women responded to women of color choosing not to participate in the Women's March with sentences like this.
Oh, they're talking about liberal feminism, where they were talking about how women that are qualified should get their job, but like based on their merits, not their sex.
Okay. I don't think that's feminism. I think that's equality.
Well, no, it was liberal feminism at the time because, you know, there was a period where we actually were a lot more sexist than we are now.
Oh, yeah.
There was a long history of feminism being very white and not actually speaking to the full breadth of experience of women, right? And so a lot of women responded, white women responded to women of color choosing not to participate in the Women's March with sentences like this. We should be at the Women's March. Show your solidarity with all women. I can't believe you're sitting this one out. This is about sisterhood. Don't be so divisive. We should be coming together to fight a common enemy. This isn't about white women or black women. It's just about women. So when we say these things, we're asking women of color to choose between their gender and their race, right? We're demonstrating that we're not actually willing to take race into account.
What the fuck? Yeah, what kind of logic leads to that conclusion?
The only women that have a different vagina are the ones that have been subjected to FGM. The rest of us, the vagina is the same. We're all women. Okay?
What's FGM?
They're female genital mutilation.
Oh, okay. All right. Just want to make sure everybody knew. So,
it's like the difference between
I thought you were going to talk about
trans.
I thought you were going to talk about women with penises.
No, I'm not lumping them in with this right now because I'm not even going to deal with the stupidness of the identity thing. I'm talking about straight up.
Well,
this is the exact opposite of what Code Pink used to preach.
This kind of shit,
years ago.
Right? This kind of shit led to like TERFs voting for Trump.
Yes,
you know
shit here
exactly. Yeah. This kind of conflation, and that's what's so funny about intersectionality is that you literally have created a lattice work of voters that could be easily dismantled. You know, just as easy as they assemble.
Account when we set our white feminist agenda, and despite knowing again that these issues are so connected, we like to separate it out. Like race is just this completely different issue that will be discussed at a different time and place, but to be clear, a different time and place that we will not be joining, right? Which is really just sort of all lives mattering the issue. And I refer to this as using feminism as a weapon, right? Trying to use sisterhood, quote unquote sisterhood, against women of color. And there's nothing new about this, and Nestic's going to speak some more on that.
She said sisterhood the first time. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Oh, she's sticking her toe in the water.
Oh my god.
So I refer to this as
It's time for the black lady to speak.
marching from the back. White women love Susan B. Anthony and the work that she did during the women's suffrage movement. However, I want everybody to be clear that Susan B. Anthony was a racist. She was quite the racist, and she made it very clear that she would rather have her arm cut off than to be fighting for black women or black people to be able to vote.
And yet her work led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Yeah, like this is a common theme in critical race theory, is that you can't look at things in terms of, wow, progressively people got less racist over time in a world that was actually very racist. You just have to look and be like, let's apply the morals of today, the morals of society years ago, and call Susan B. Anthony the worst racist ever.
Yeah, what about Margaret Sanger? Who
God.
You know, who was a eugenicist who, who created Planned Parenthood, that these people, I'm sure they love supporting with their tax dollars. So, and
Yes,
when I say these
Dr.
people, I mean dumbass bitches like this.
Dr. Gibbs got it right. Let's abolish all feminism. Just abolish the entire movement and ideology. It doesn't need to exist here anymore. It's got to go. Feminism is destroying femininity, and it's destroying the female shape and form, and I'm done. Just abolish it. I'm done. I'm done with this shit.
Curves are a good thing. Just saying.
Yes.
And people white women particularly, are mad at Bill Blur for what he talked about in his stand-up session. And white women have been hijacking movements since the beginning of time, and particularly during the women's suffrage movement. The women of Delta Sigma Theta sorority were already doing the work that Susan B. Anthony and her homegirls were already doing. They were doing it in their respective communities, in their respective churches and their universities. And they decided that they needed to be a part of the women's suffrage march. And Susan B. and her homegirls were like, we don't really need you, but we need you to make it look like this march is bigger than it is. So if you're going to march, you're going to have to march from the back. And the legacy of that still lingers to this day in all movements that pertain to women of color.
Yeah,
the only people that march in the back are the short ones, or the ones in wheelchairs. Get it together.
March at the back of the bus. That's what I thought about. It's like, oh my God, it's just this metaphor after metaphor after metaphor.
Particularly black women. And so this is why you will not see me at a women's suffrage anything that has to do with white women taking over, hijacking, things of that nature. Bill did exactly what.
So she was against Hillary Clinton being president, then
he was supposed to do. He used his
therefore she was pro-Trump. All right.
Platform and his
there
voice,
we go.
and he, what black women called, gathered his white counterparts, brought them to the carpet, and that's what they were supposed to do. Black women are still fighting the fight from the back. I do the exact same work that my white counterparts do, on top of trying to navigate through a system that thinks that because I'm not smiling today, or I'm not using the correct tone and things of that nature. Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw talks about intersectionality.
Both of these bitches look miserable.
No, you have to be polite, bitch. You have to be polite. That's just how it goes. It has nothing to do with your skin tone, has nothing to do with anything else other than this is how a society runs. You have to be polite.
I mean, but if
Just
you look
deal
at their
with it,
faces,
asshole.
they look miserable. They both do have miserable expressions on their faces.
Well, I don't have the right tone. Well, then don't be a bitch. Just relax.
Cut out the cunt shit.
Yeah.
And we know once academia grabs a hold of something, it is a thing. However, this has not been, this isn't anything new, right? But she coined the term to talk about the different power structures interacting in the lives of black women. So when we talked about the women of Delta.
I think this is the University of Wisconsin. It's either University of Wisconsin or, it's Wisconsin. Okay.
Okay, Wisconsin is one of the only states whiter than Oregon.
Dude, tell me about it.
Sigma Theta already doing the work. They had to ask if it was okay for them.
People don't understand. Atlanta, Georgia, which they just moved the MLB All-Star game from, is 51% African American in Atlanta. All right? It's pretty much about 50-50 here where I live. All right? we've been having to get along with each other. And I really think that these dumbass white bitches that grow up in these, isolated areas that are isolated from African Americans because of, temperature or landscape or whatever, however you want to describe it, climb, it's amazing how they identify and see themselves as better than the people here in the South. Once again, see, I see this as this anti-Southern thing, and half the South is black people. So when you say anti-Southerners, you're talking about black people too. I mean, just saying. All right.
Them to march, and they had to ask the black men in their lives, but they also had to ask the white women, and that's that intersection of those different power structures interacting in the lives of black women.
Okay. And
another example I want to use of this intersection between white supremacy and patriarchy is through this piece that I found called "White Women Doing White Supremacy in Nonprofit Culture." I would argue that this is not only in nonprofit culture, but it's just one example, right? I think that this shows up in pretty much any workplace and probably a range of spaces. But three of the different things that they talked about in this article, one is a disavowal of power, right? White women, we have this complicated relationship between being oppressed and being privileged, right? And it leads us to regularly denying or downplaying just how much power we actually hold and sort of clinging to this identity of, but we are also oppressed and, I am at a disadvantage.
What did she say?
She has power and is oppressed at the same time.
Because she's a whammon. I mean, God, how do you... I'm sorry, I just...
I need the Jackie Chan meme.
What?
I need the Jackie Chan meme.
Yeah.
And patriarchy is through this piece that I found called "White Women Doing White Supremacy in Nonprofit Culture." I would argue that this is not only in nonprofit culture, but it's just one example, right? I think that this shows up in pretty much any workplace and probably a range of spaces. But three of the different things that they talked about in this article, one is a disavowal of power, right? White women, we have this complicated relationship between being oppressed and being privileged, right? And it leads us to regularly denying or downplaying just how much power we actually hold and sort of clinging to this identity of, but we are also oppressed and, I am at a disadvantage. And it's not that, one or the other, right? I'm not trying to tell people that they're not oppressed as women.
Good call, Ajax. She is white-splaining, ain't she?
She is.
However, right, there's this disavowal of the power that we also hold. And it's important that we hold both of those at the same time. But we as white women don't do a terribly good job of that. There's also this role of performative anti-racism, right? And I will 100% admit that I still struggle with this, right? We get sucked into playing the liberal Olympics. And I can say as a person who works for UW-Madison and who lives in Madison that you get sucked into this trying to out-woke each other kind of performative thing. And again, where does that come from? It comes from this desire to distance ourselves from white supremacy rather than actually wrestle with what our role in it is and see what we can do differently and what we can change and what we need to, take a hard long look at ourselves about.
Stop for a second.
Plus,
this woman is like justifying the ridiculousness of wokeism because she's admitting right here, there's no place to go other than to zero, right?
Right.
Like, especially if you're white, like there's nothing you can do besides out-woke everybody else. And she's like, this is a problem. We should stop doing it. And it was like, it's baked into the ideology, bitch. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm still laughing really hard. Like that was amazing. She said that part out loud.
Yeah, she did, didn't she?
Niceness above all else, right? And I'm actually going to read a quote from this piece that really helped solidify this for me and just hit home for me. So I'm going to read a direct quote. But they wrote that patriarchy seeds a deep fear of conflict in women, which is a tried and true strategy for keeping women in line. This fear of conflict is then reflected in white women's communication patterns. One insidious way white women prioritize niceness is by neutralizing discomfort. When critical feedback is offered, white women often turn the conversation towards looking on the bright side, pointing out white supremacy is dismissed.
Isn't that a maternal
Oh, yes. Actually, it is part of female
thing? It's
nature.
part of
It's-
hardwired,
Yeah.
maternal shit.
Yeah.
So now, see, she's literally saying deny your programming now, and readopt this new programming.
That's destructive.
It is. It's literally impossible, and it's insanity. This is insanity, people.
It's impossible, period.
Right. You can't, it's like you can't change the way the human mind works. You can't
Jesus
do it.
Christ. No, I'm not, but it's a part of why would I do that? Parents are supposed to be a source of hope for their children in scary times. Why would I give up that ability to give my kids hope in the future so some angry fat girl that needs to go outside can make money on the internet?
Dude.
Like I do. Her parents have got to be pissed they paid for this. That's all I can say.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how fucking pissed off they are?
Negative, right? This has the effect of shaming folks and dismissing essential information about impact. So I think this is also compounded by Midwest communication habits, right? There's this desire for an absence of conflict rather than a presence of justice, right? Which requires us to build these muscles for working through conflict and coming to solutions that actually, again, bring a presence of justice rather than trying to put conflict out of the room.
They gotta go burn shit down?
So-
What?
Yeah, a call to action is that?
Now we've
Fuck
arrived
was that? Yeah, that was retarded.
at our first journaling opportunity. I want you to have a pen and paper. I really do recommend pen and paper. There is actually some research to suggest that you get more out of writing exercises when you physically do it. But if you're more into writing on a word processing program on a computer, that's also fine. But
I'm going to take over this part. I'm going to say, if you got a pen and paper, I want you to draw 2 lines far apart, all right, going up and down, and then 2 lines far apart going side to side. And then I want you to put an X in one. And then I want you to put a 0 and try to make a line of X's or a line of zeros. Okay. All right. That's effective journaling for me.
Tickety, tackety, toadity. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tic-tac-toe.
we have 2 different potential journal prompts for you. One, the first one, I would ask you to just choose one.
All right, listen to these journal prompts, man. All right, this is something for y'all to meditate on and write about.
But the first one is, how have you participated in white supremacy? Again, maybe through those 3 items that I just mentioned: disavowal of power, performative anti-racism, and niceness above all else. Maybe you choose one of those to discuss and sort of dive deep and look at how you participated in those things. And then once you do that, look at what has likely been the harm of your words or actions. Or the second journal prompt is, how have you used feminism as a weapon against women of color? What has likely been the harm of your words or actions? And again, that could be about, not showing up for racial issues, or not, adequately integrating race into the work that you do. It could be a number of different things there. So yeah, what I'm going to do, we're going to give 10 minutes for this. So we're going to give until 1:10 p.m. For you to do this journaling. In the meantime, I am theoretically, hopefully, about to stream a little bit of piano music in the background to help folks who struggle with silence. Sometimes I do as well. So yeah, we'll return at 1:10.
Struggle with
Okay.
silence. People who struggle
That's
with
like-
silence.
Perfect time to stop and talk too, because
Yeah, it is.
it's almost 8. So
Yep.
like,
We got a quarter till.
fuck me. I thought the ginger was bad, but Jesus fuck. Okay. Wow. Like, okay. Yeah, she really needs to go outside.
A little pasty there.
She's like that unhealthy type, not just like, oh, I'm really fair and that's the way I was born.
She
No,
could
it's
probably
that,
use a
like-
little clitoral stimulation too. I'm just saying, for fuck's sake, these people are miserable, and It's their own doing. It's their choice to be miserable. Just miserable.
They stole the piano from the Kenyans. I'm betting they did.
All right, we are at 1:10 p.m., so I'm going to bring us back. Thank you all for spending some time reflecting on some ways that we've participated in white supremacy. For the chat, what I would like to do is ask folks to share what are some steps you'd like to take to address your participation in white supremacy, with the goal of ending our participation in white supremacy, recognizing that this is really a lifelong journey, and that you're probably never going to completely finish, right, separating yourself from white supremacy, but right, that's the goal, is to push to not be participating in this system. And
I'm just going to kill it.
It's sin. It's they're using SOS recovery.
I feel like
style.
everything this person has said, this like woman specifically, I could pretend to be her. Like,
Yeah.
how much money do they make? Because I might be a critical race diversity officer, DIO or whatever for a major company very soon. Because you can make a lot of money, like having really dumb ideas right now.
Why would you further the problem, Excel?
Money.
So
All right, if people are asking about the piano music that they're actually hearing, that is Philip Daniels' original music. So I'm very excited to have this guy's music because I've always liked his music. Anyway, I'm shut up about that a little bit. But yeah, the whole thing, we'll pop back into the room. If you listen, you can hear the pigs oinking. So, come we got 10 minutes, y'all.
Well, okay. So I just want to point out how much of the stupidity in young people was just displayed right there. Everybody who's gone to college comes out sounding like this now.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what they go in for. When they come out of college, this kind of language is what they use. It doesn't matter if they believe it or not. They use the vernacular.
Right.
Okay, that's a problem, guys. That's something that we need to address. Because that means that there's brainwashing going on and there's programming going on.
It's like a mind virus. We've talked about this before, that aspect of it. And have you ever seen the movie Pontypool? That's a great example. And I recommend it to anybody if you have an opportunity to see a movie called Pontypool. It's about a little radio station in a little town in Canada, and words turn people into kind of not zombies, but it makes them go insane. And it's a great metaphor for what's happening right now.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
It's a good movie.
I haven't seen that before.
Vernacular
this
is
is
a good word.
It is. It's fun to use. It's fun to say. It's like tabernacle, and I don't get that much ability. There's not that many opportunities to use the term tabernacle, but vernacular I can get in there.
And avuncular. The eulers.
You're just living in 2016 as a response? Seriously? That's a whopping 5 years. What the hell? Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I agree, Greater Ajax. Ban liberal arts degrees now or we are all lost. Yeah, this is getting insane. We need to really stop the conditioning because I'm seeing people come out of STEM with this language now.
Yeah. That's the dangerous shit right there, is that if it infects STEM, all right, it's gonna infect medicine. It's already affecting psychology. The psychology has got the foot in its door. right? Because there's parallels between psychology and philosophy, right?
Yes.
And very strong parallels. And so, and it's, you know, it's been embedded in philosophy for years. Because, you know, look here, y'all, philosophy is the study. It's really just jacking off with your mind. It's, you know, anyway, I'll shut up.
I think when you start applying it to the outside world, it no longer serves its purpose, because philosophy is supposed to give you the ability to reflect upon yourself and improve, and to gain a greater understanding of the world outside of you so you can improve more.
Oh, look at this.
What?
I'm gonna pop it to the screen. Let's see if I can get it back for you. They're gonna see this. This is the girls. Oh, I've got a display catcher here. This is her page. Jesse Corcoran.
Oh, right.
Narrative and resource development coordinator.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, she's trying hard.
Yeah. Her parents have money, man, and they're probably related to school.
They all do.
I know they're all rich. They're all rich little fucks, man. It's anyway. But yeah, we can get rid of that.
Holy shit. Okay, so she's a tryhard.
Thanks, Ryan. You're awesome, man.
Finger slip. Whoops.
Hey, you know, kind of cross-pollinating with Insomnus has been one of the best things that's happened to me, creative-wise. So it's been a good thing. They're doing good works over there about Waco, and
yeah, they are.
We you know, and they just got tapped for the ATF. Was a main player at Waco. So
awesome. So here comes more dead kittens and tortured old people. Sweet.
And dead children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know,
talking about the kind of everyday things that nobody talks about the ATF doing that are fucking awful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dead dogs and shit. Yeah.
Kittens. There was one woman who stomped a kitten to death because it played with her shoelace. She said it was attacking her. She was an ATF agent.
Okay.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. No
Anyway.
shit. No shit.
So yeah, I'm still kind of baffled by that woman speaking. And is she talking to adults or eighth graders?
I don't know.
Like, is this supposed to be like for college classes? Like,
Yeah. No, that's it's a college thing. That was it was a COOF course. That's from, I think that's from late 2020.
okay, so that's an actual college course. That's a seminar or
it's a seminar, right? It's an extra credit thing, or it was I don't know exactly what it was, you know, but it was part of that week of diversity thing. Did you see the she had a little I don't know, a little banner up before she like showed her partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't see it very well.
Adults with eighth grader brains. I would rather be an adult with an eighth grader brain than be one of these overeducated fuckheads, man.
Well, she's talking to these college people like they don't have any brains. This is like my 9-year-old would be bored with the way she's giving this and the questions she wrote.
Right.
Like, to the point where she would give you 1-word responses, maybe 2. It might be a no you. That's all you're going to get for those questions in the journal time. It's so dumbed down. It's incredibly dumbed down. That's terrifying to me. Because that's supposed to be taught to other adults. So I don't. Everything is now like a Powerpuff Girls episode.
Excel, you're so goddamn quiet. Why? He's playing a game, I guarantee you.
I know.
I'm not playing the game. Really, I was just like sitting back and being like, I'm so glad that I like devoted this channel, like this topic to you.
Yeah.
Because you and Atima could totally carry the stream if I decided to fuck off for the rest of my life. And it would still be important. And actually, like, one thing that I must say that is actually incredibly important is I was listening to AM Talk Radio, and they have like advertisements now about how critical race theory is fucking everything up. And I know that that's conservative talk radio, but at least it's in the forefront of some people's consciousness.
Right.
Like, people are talking
There's
about
active pushback starting. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And hopefully we can squash this shit before it becomes highly problematic and it becomes violent. I mean, because it's leading people to this divergent position to where the only way that they're going to be able to justify their absolution is through blood sacrifice. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it does. Sorry, I was in the middle of typing too.
I just took a big old sip of Dr. Thunder and it was like, oh shit, this is a bad batch. Yeah.
Bad Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, it's not enough. You know, it was low on the syrup. The sweet was nice.
Oh.
It's one of those. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
You know how
sorry.
that shit goes. All right, so we're really near the end of the show, man. What do y'all got coming up with Emma?
I don't know what I have coming up. I'm still doing physical therapy and I'm in like the first month, so I'm going to see how things keep going, and I'm hopeful that I will be able to start doing videos and stuff here not too much longer when I can sit for more than like 35 minutes at a time.
I heard that.
So
good.
But other than that, you plugged the people I wanted to plug, which was Insomnist, and Bubonic is here, and you guys should go check out his stuff. He shows you really interesting stuff.
Dude, I got to line him up for, I guess would it be May, do the ice cream interview. I want to, so I'm going to hit you up, Bubonic, and we're going to line that up. So, and speaking of, tomorrow is Lee Murphy. He had to work tomorrow, so we pre-recorded it, and I'll be premiering it. I will be in the chat during the whole thing, so come out and hang with me. It's a great conversation, and I really had a good time talking to him. Interesting guy, very interesting dude.
Yes, he's been my friend for years.
Yeah,
I've streamed with him a lot.
Hey, yeah.
The only thing I have to say is I'm going to be on vacation all week, and I might go out of town for a little bit, but there's a good chance that I will actually just try to do like some sort of afternoon stream, just staying out with people. So if you're down with that, actually go to my actual channel. I will type, and you can actually just click on my name and go to my channel.
Oh. All right, and tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow I got Lee Murphy. Monday, Beck and I are going to probably look at Russian television. It was an OPBS special that was done about. They had gathered some footage from Russian TV. We're talking about it. I don't know. I still haven't scanned it. So, Nightbot, appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel, people. You know, you are the chosen. I choose you. I even choose morons like Trap Vision JP. If you just you know, I'm pulling for you, man. I'm pulling for you to make it.
Yeah, but FTW's here, so you know, we got big ballers in the chat, so he should stop fucking around.
Right,
Calling us
exactly.
fucking
No,
very
it's,
white
right. I mean, you know, it's like you can't disparage the people in the chat or the people that are, you know, that I'm hosting in my house here.
Yeah.
Be respectful. You're in somebody else's house. You know, do what your mama told you to. All right. Just saying. And if you didn't have a mama, you had somebody tell you how to act when you at somebody else's house. There's no excuse. And next Sunday, I'm going to be talking to Toya D.
Oh, that's right.
Toya
super-
D.
She's really not nice, guys. She's not nice at all.
Right.
Toya's not pleasant and nice and interesting and intelligent at all. Not at all.
And of course, man, the if you've been watching the Cream stream, man, we've had a really killer roll. We're starting to attract a base, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of y'all for helping out with that. I want to make things bigger and better. I'm looking at things down the road. So that's all I'm going to say. And on that note, I don't have anything else to say. It's after 10. We've been talking too long. Sorry, prostate. I'm OUT. How about y'all?
Yeah.
Love y'all. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I'll see you here next Saturday.